I wish you guys could see behind the scenes because he was trying to procrastinate me setting up the camera so he could heat up the shop more because he's too cold. And we are in Oregon, so it's normally cold, but this is our first like 60-degree day in the span of 3 days.
It's cold in here. I don't like to be cold.
But anyway, finally ready. Yeah, we actually rearranged the shop a little bit. Well, he did. I was actually gone when he did it, so I can't take any of the credit for that. But
I think we need to talk a little bit about why we have not been posting much videos lately.
Yeah. Yep. To be honest with you, like in the other update video, there's a lot going on in our personal lives. I just got engaged, and then there were a few business trips you took, and a few more coming up. But as well as honestly, what's taking the most time is we'll get down to the shop and we'll just realize we want to get my bike done. So we've been so focused on that and we haven't been recording because it takes so much extra time. But my bike's sitting, I can see it, you guys can't. So I'm like, I keep looking over here and drooling.
I was gonna say, I keep looking at it too. You guys probably wonder what we're looking at, but yeah, I can't wait till you see the reveal.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
And we have, no kidding, it's been hard getting parts.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a clutch order. We're doing a
7th week.
Yeah, we're on the 7th week with the clutch, and it's still not here. And
that's the Recluse. I mean, you saw the teaser before. So waiting on the Recluse clutch, and then I ordered another little surprise that we'll tell you about later. But yeah, bike is sitting here fully assembled, just with plastics off and the airbox off. But it's ready to go. So this video, we're actually going to show you how to put new chain adjusting blocks on, as well as how to adjust your chain to have the correct slack for what your bike is. Not all bikes are the same. Some you measure from different locations, and you'll have to check what your bike calls for, but they're all basically the same method. So we'll show you how to do that. Kyle, you want to say hi to the video? Keep your head in. I don't know if they can see you. You're like, hey guys. Do you need help lifting it up there?
Need help? Yeah, probably.
Hey Kyle. So for all you guys asking why he bought the KTM 125.
Look it, I did it all by myself. Kyle didn't even have to help me.
All right, so we're gonna dive into how to adjust your chain tension. We're also gonna change the blocks. If you're here for that, you can watch that as well. But first, we're gonna just kind of look at how do you adjust your chain tension. First thing you wanna do is make sure your bike's rear wheel is off the ground. You don't want any weight on that at all. His specific bike is a 27mm over here on the other side of this wheel for the axle bolt. All you're gonna do, if you're gonna just adjust the chain tension and not change the block, all you're gonna do is loosen this a little bit. Take note, there's a mark here on your swing arm, marking where it's set right now. Both sides are gonna be identical, or at least should be. So when you readjust, you're gonna wanna make sure that those are both in the same spot. So right here you have a jam nut. What you're gonna do with this is you're gonna back this off, relieving pressure, and then this is your set nut. So this is what you're gonna adjust, so either suck it in or push it out to make sure that your chain is set where you want it to. So you're just gonna loosen that, do it here. You're gonna come over to the other side and do the same thing over there and make sure your marks are lined up. Now to see where you're supposed to be and how far you're supposed to adjust these, on his bike, like I said, in the manual it shows where you're supposed to adjust it from. You can see right here it shows from the chain guard. You're supposed to have anywhere from 1.97 to 2.36 inches. In his instance, he likes to do 2 inches from here to here, just because that's what it's kind of in between these. Otherwise, if it's too tight, you're gonna have an overload on the engine and other vital parts. And if it's too loose, it can skip or damage the swing arm. So you wanna make sure it's just in between what your bike calls for. So that's where you measure on the Yamaha, is right here from the chain guard to the chain. And then as far as the blocks go, so these are super, super nice. These are what we're gonna be installing after we loosen the bolt, take the axle out. These go in, it's one and done. So it's got one bolt. You no longer have to mess with both of these things. This pulls it in and out, super easy. And like I said, they're not gnarled up, so you can actually see the marks super clear and you can get a really cool color. So pretty inexpensive upgrade. That's really, really nice to do, especially if your bike is used. In his case, it's a pretty new bike, but still, I mean, you can see here, he's still got the jam nut, he's still got the adjustment nut, and same color as the swing arm, so I mean, you could mistake the marks, but makes life a lot easier.
And you should be checking your chain slack after every ride.
Yeah. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do gonna loosen this nut over here. There it goes. And in my case, since I'm actually changing the blocks, I'm gonna completely remove this nut. If you were just, like I said, if you were just adjusting the chain, all you have to do is loosen that so you can adjust those blocks and slide them back and forth. So if you are replacing the blocks, easiest tools are a rubber mallet so you don't hurt anything, and then some kind of chisel or pounding rod that you can use to get that axle out easier. This is a newer bike, so the axle comes out pretty easily. Might not even need the pin. As you pull this out, it's easier to lift up on the tire, and then it pulls right out, just like that. So there you can see the old one as well as the axle. So in my instance, this jamming nut is a 12 on my dad's Yami, and then this nut back here is a 10. So first what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna loosen this jamming nut. It goes pretty easy, it shouldn't be too tight. Once you get that, you're just gonna loosen, and most of the time you can do it by hand, the whole nut, and you're gonna move the entire thing. So here's a close-up. Make sure you guys can see that. So here's a close-up. There's your jamming nut right here, and then there's the nut that you adjust with. And I'll zoom in when I put the blocks down there, but there's that.
Amazing stuff right there.
So here are the blocks. I put that lock lube on, or not the lock lube, what do you call that, Ed?
Never sees.
Never sees, yeah. I put the never sees on these. Like I said, the one that's notched, or at least yours will most likely be notched if you're replacing the blocks. This notched one is gonna go on the side that the axle actually goes through. All right, so now I got my block slid in there. I started on a few threads. You do have to make sure that if you are installing new blocks, that this is inserted before. You can't get this around there once it's tighter. His is a 10 millimeter, so you're just gonna do this by hand. You're gonna tighten it in. I'd just go middle, and then you can adjust once you get the axle through. So just make it to where you can actually get the axle through it. You were thinking it though, Kyle was.
Yeah,
actually. Dad, can you come hold the bike up, or hold the A-arm down? Do something to help me, I guess.
You're still zooming in.
I think so.
Easy with my bike.
Oh, please. All right, so the axle is now in. Just gonna put our nut back on.
And then you're just about to the point where if you are not removing your blocks, that now you move into how to adjust your chain.
Right. So when I said that I put the nut on, I left it loose because now we're gonna have to set this chain tension. So I just, like I said, I just kind of screwed these into where, you know, it was easy to get the axle in. And then now we're actually gonna adjust the chain tension. So let's go at that. All right, so we like to use a solid tape measure, makes it really nice. Anything does work as long as it's obviously in the right measurements. So on his particular bike, you're gonna measure from the start of the chain guard right here on the swing arm. If I pull up on that, we're seeing roughly 2.5 inches right there. So we're gonna get that closer to 2. And the way you do that is you come down here to the block. In our case, we just put these new blocks in. If you had the originals in stock on your bike, most often they will have that jam nut that I was talking about. You're gonna wanna loosen that, and from there you can then screw in the adjustment nut. But in our case, we just have one. All we gotta do is either loosen or tighten to pull it in or push it out. In this case, we wanna push it out to tighten the chain. So I'm going to loosen this. And it makes a big difference. You can actually see the chain physically move when you do that. So I just did a few turns. Might have been too much, but we'll see. So right there, I'm about 2.25. So I'm gonna give it 1 or 2 more turns. As you're adjusting, make sure you go over to the other side and follow with it, because it's gonna be most accurate when you're measuring if you do both sides right after each other. So make sure they're each measuring the same marks. All right, so he just inspected it. That's exactly what he wanted for his chain. I have almost on the dot 2 inches as best as I could get here. And when you pull up on this, you're not fighting to pull up to get the slack that you're getting. All you got to do is just lift up until it stops. I mean, you're not trying to shove that thing up. You want an accurate reading, so just lift it up just like that, nice and smooth. Wherever you get that reading, take it, adjust here, adjust over there, try again until you get it where you want it. And I made sure that both sides, my mark here and my mic on the block itself, are the same exact here as they are on the other side. That's just so you're not binding it and you're nice and even on both sides. Once you have that set, super easy. You're just gonna tighten that axle bolt back down to your torque spec and then you're good to go riding. All right, so not too bad. We changed the blocks out and we adjusted the chain tension.
So a few takeaways from that is I always recommend you torque nuts and bolts on your bike.
100%.
Yeah, I have had bolts rattle out loose.
All right, thanks for watching. Drop your comments, any questions, how-tos, video recommendations. Please subscribe and share these videos. Really helps us out. And we're gonna break into some riding videos. We'd love to get those up, and it's getting sunny around here. My bike's almost done, so you'll see those coming shortly. But anything you got, and we'll close it out.
Yeah, that's it. I'm a fair weather guy, so we haven't been riding a lot this winter, but we'll get back out.
Yeah.
It's coming spring, so.
Yep. All right, see you guys later.
All right, rock on.
There we go. That's how we'll end it right there.
Yeah.
Nap time.
Yeah, take a nap.